Thanks for joining us today on Envision. I'm Deanne Conrad, and Dr. Brian Maher is going to talk to us today about a very significant donation to the Sioux Falls Public Schools. And we've been talking about the need for looking at our facilities and understanding where our enrollment is living in the city and what we need to do in terms of continuing growth in our enrollment. And then we had this wonderful donation. Tell us about that.
You're exactly right. You know, and there's still so much work to be done with the community and soliciting opinions and trying to figure out what solutions are. So at the very beginning of all of that, Sanford in general and Kevin Lampe specifically reached out and said, "Can we have a conversation about land?" And I said, "Absolutely." So we met, we talked about land, and long after we talked about what our needs might be, Kevin told me that the land that we were talking about would be a donation. And I'm fairly certain that my jaw hit the floor when I was told that. So that was the first step in what has manifested itself into being the donation of 35 acres of land, and the potential for us to buy 10 more acres of land if we would need that.
Now this land is certainly to be part of a conversation of
Right.
where we might be headed in terms of facilities in the future, but really no strings attached other than has to be a school.
I tell people that Sanford had the audacity to tell us, "We'll give you this land if and only if you build a school on the land."
Right, so no other strings attached.
That's the only string. That's the only string. So the deal was sold to me and subsequently to our board as though this is a philanthropic venture. It's an investment in the community. It's an investment in the public schools. And I take all of those comments at face value. I appreciate the generosity of Sanford. What will go on that land? How will the school district use that land? I truly don't know. We have a lot of processes to go through yet before that's determined. But to have that land as part of that larger community conversation is such a good thing. So
absolutely.
I told somebody yesterday, it just fell out of the sky and dropped in our lap. I would love to take credit for this, but I can't. This is all, the credit here all goes to Sanford.
That's wonderful. So this land that we're talking about is on the northern part of Sioux Falls, and near, if you're familiar with where the Sanford, the Pentagon would be, the field house, those types of things. The South Dakota junior football fields are
Right.
a popular place that gets a lot of traffic to and from them, so that might provide a little bit of awareness as to where that land is.
Right. There's more and more activity out there all the time, and you're right. The land is south and a little bit west of the Sanford Sports Complex. If you don't know exactly where that is, it's kind of north of the Ramcota on Westport, south of the sports complex, east of the interstate. If you don't know those landmarks, we'll get you a map
It's
down
the
the road.
northern part of the school
We'll get you a
district.
map down the road. But,
Exactly.
but that gives most people, I think, kind of understand where that is. I've had the question asked of me, would that be a good place for a school? And my answer is unequivocal. If that's where our community wants it, it's an outstanding place for our school. We could use that as a combination middle school, high school parcel of land, or excuse me, middle school, elementary school parcel of land. We could use it as a middle school parcel of land. We could use it as a high school parcel of land. So the opportunities are endless. The conversations that I have generally go to a high school, and certainly it would work for a high school. But we've got a lot of community conversation to take place before we've truly determined how or if we'll use that land.
Right, and then as part of the gift, Sanford said, if you choose not to use the land to build a school, then there's no penalty to that donation. It just goes back to Sanford.
Right. If we can't use that land for a school, then the land goes back to Sanford, and that's that's reasonable.
Absolutely.
They've given us a little over 3 years to be able to make that commitment. So they've given us plenty of time
Sure.
to take care of a topic that really we've talked about for a while now. So to give us in excess of 3 years to actually get something accomplished is incredibly reasonable, and again, very philanthropic on their part.
Wonderful gift. Well, we'll see how that land plays into the future of the Sioux Falls School District. If it does, what type of school might end up there. We need, as we've been saying, we need community input, and we hope you'll engage in that conversation when the time comes. Thanks for joining us today on Envision.